Hello everyone, Jason with Innovations Technology Group here today, and I want to do this update video on how I fixed my Linksys Atlas Max 6E Wi-Fi. If you have one of these and you're having issues with disconnect, slowness, or non-responsiveness from this device, then definitely you need to watch this video because I'm going to show you how I fixed that issue and may even show you a few tips and tricks to make this device work better than it would out of the box. So let's talk about the issues that I was having. Out of the box, when you set up the device through the Linksys app on your phone, it creates one wireless network. Now I named mine ITG6E. So the 2.4 gigahertz band and 5 and 6 gigahertz bands all use that same name. And the idea is that it would use the best network that your device could use, and it would cover around 9,000 square feet. In fact, that's what it says on the box right here, 9,000 square feet. And of course, I also, just so you know, I have the 3-pack version here. And let me just start off by saying, I don't have any 6E devices yet, so I've been unable to test the 6 gigahertz network. But out of the box, though, I did notice that my 5 gigahertz network devices would not stay on the 5 gigahertz network. It would disconnect from that and then reconnect to the 2.4 gigahertz network, which, I could only stay connected top speed at 144 megabits per second. So at that point, I went into the web interface, and I will show you this in this video, but I separated my networks. So I have one network for the 2.4 gigahertz specifically, one for the 5, and one for the 6. And I named them all different so that I could manually connect to the network that I wanted my device to stay connected to. That way it wouldn't switch on its own. Now doing this, when I would set my devices on the 5 gigahertz network, I would have nothing but issues. I would have constant disconnects, slowness, non-responsiveness, and I was on the latest firmware, so I couldn't do anything else to update the software with any updates or anything like that. All I know is that when I was on the 5 gigahertz network, that network was completely unusable. It would just not stay connected. In fact, I ended up having to run an Ethernet cable because the router sits right over there, and run an Ethernet cable from it to my device so that I could still use the internet in hopes that Linksys would put out a firmware update. All right, so let me set the scene. I'm going to demonstrate this for you. I have the 3-pack, and right now I only have 2 of my devices working together, one being a parent node, the other being a child node. The 3rd node, I took it, reset it back to factory defaults, and attempted to do some testing on it as a parent node on its own, not connected to the others. And so I'm going to show you right now with the 3rd node connected as a parent node, just to show you what I was getting on the 5 gigahertz network. Because now that I've fixed my issues, I'm not having them anymore, so I can't show you what was happening. So let's just go ahead and dive right in and get started. Okay, so here, look at that. Right during the very beginning of the recording, you just saw it disconnect. So, all right, it's connected back here, and I am connected to this Wi-Fi test. Now, even though I've got a super strong signal, you can see it's only connected at 574 megabits per second. Here inside the router page, we'll just go to Wi-Fi settings, and you can see I've separated my networks. I got my 2.4 gigahertz is called ITG test. 5 gigahertz is called ITG test 5. I'm currently connected to the ITG test 5, which you could see that here. And you could see that I'm connected up there. It just dropped from 574 to 60, now to 117. And it'll fluctuate and may even disconnect. And there it's back to 574, but obviously it's not going any faster than that. So I will bring over my command prompt here, and I am going to ping the router. And what you'll see is these times are just fluctuating. It's just all over the place. It should be 1 millisecond, or like this says, less than 1 millisecond. But as you can see, nothing but issues. Nothing but issues. And this one, here we go. We might time out right here. Look at there, we timed out. So this is all going to mess with just how well it's connected to the internet. Now, as I bring up a speed test here, while this is going, even though this is fluctuating, I'll bring up a speed test. It just disconnected. So there you see it's not even connected to the internet, and it's reconnected now. So you could see how it's dropping and then coming back, dropping and coming back. And I'd be willing to bet that some of you guys out there are having the very same issue with, there it goes again. I mean, you see how fast that stayed connected and disconnected. And I'm not doing anything but letting it run on its own. Now I'm waiting for it to come back. So I'm going to give it a second. Sometimes it took a minute for it to come back, and it would take a while for it to come back and say it was reconnected again. Sometimes it would reconnect right away. Sometimes it wouldn't. So I'm going to pause the video until it's reconnected again. I'd also like to say that when it's like this, my laptop couldn't even find the 5 gigahertz network anymore. It was just unavailable. Now the 2.4 gigahertz network is available, and I could click on it and get reconnected. And as I'm speaking now, the 5 gigahertz network is connecting again. Okay, so we're connected back here again. And like the other times, it's connected real slow. But I'm going to attempt to run a speed test before it disconnects again. And we'll see. I'm going to close this and reopen it. It's already disconnected again. Okay, it's connected. I'm going to run the speed test now as quickly as I can just to see what we get here. I'm hitting go. And hopefully it'll even finish a speed test. Doesn't look like it's going to make it. So as you can see, these were some of the problems that I was having with the device. And even when it did connect to a speed test, I pay for 600 megabits down with Spectrum Business and 35 up. And as you can see, I'm only getting about 175 here. And the pings are still all over the place, right? And plus, I'm only connected to the router at 574 megabits. So you could see that I'm only getting about a third of what the internet can be, and just less than half, almost a third of what the link speed is connected at. Now I'm going to switch over to my MacBook, and I just want to show you on the MacBook, because it has a special mode to show you what the signal strength is like and things like that. I'm going to show you that just so you can see that I've got a good strong signal, just like this says here. But I want to demonstrate that. So I'm going to do that now. And it disconnected before I could stop the video, so that was perfect timing. Okay guys, so here I am. I'm on my MacBook, and as you can see up here, I'm currently connected to this ITG Test 5, the same as I was on the Windows screen there. So one thing that I'm going to say that I love about the MacBook is it has, if you hold down the Option key and you click on your Wi-Fi, it'll give you more information on how well you're connected and things like that. And it will also let you go into Wireless Diagnostics. So I'm going to click on that now. That opens up this screen. Just leave that open. And you come over here to Window and you go to Performance. And it will pull up a graph like this. Let me stretch it out. And you can see some information about your Wi-Fi. Love this. This is a very powerful troubleshooting tool. Now, what I'm going to show you here is this first graph here at the top is going to actually show what you're connected at. And you can see right now we're connected at 540 megabits. This next graph is going to show you the quality at which it's connected. Now, generally in the 50s, you're at a good quality signal. When you start to dip down too low, then that means it's going to be a lot of retransmissions and things of that nature. And then finally down here at the bottom, you can actually see your signal, which is in the green, to noise, which is other things that are around you on the same frequency. So by looking at this, what you can see is that I've got a strong signal, because the closer to zero, because it's done in negative numbers, okay, the closer to zero, or the higher the number, technically, since it's a negative number, the better the signal. And so you want this good separation between signal to noise. And that's what's going to help get a high quality signal. And as you can see, even on the MacBook right now, we're only connected at 600 megabits. So opening the command prompt here, and I'm going to do the same thing as I did on my Windows laptop. And I'm just going to ping. And as you can see, the ping's even coming from the MacBook, timing out, having issues. I mean, it's the same story. Okay, so you can't say, well, this is Windows, or this is your Intel driver, or this is whatever. I mean, we'll run if it'll let me get away with doing a speed test. And just for thoroughness, I'm going to choose Spectrum. If I can find it in the list here. There it is. Now, I typically use this one just because this is with Spectrum and this is the other one that comes up. So to compare apples to apples, I want to do the speed test on here with this the same as the other. And so with all this running, and you can see the values here of what the graph is currently showing, I'm going to hit go. And you'll see I'll get the same slow speed test as I did on the Windows laptop. There you saw even a high ping there a couple of times. And now you see the speed fluctuating. But you can see I've got good signal, low noise. My quality is fluctuating a bit, but it's staying in the 50s. My speed is 600 megabits, but I can't seem to get, we'll run it again just to be sure, but you can see how it's having issues. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this speed test finish. You guys get the gist of what's going on. So now I'm going to put everything back up that's fixed and show you exactly what I did to fix this issue. Okay, guys. So I'm back. Now I'm on the good network now, which I call ITG6E-5. So I'm going to open this back up. This wireless diagnostics, and again show you that now I'm connected at 1300 megabits per second. My signal quality is still around the 50s, and you can see I've got decent. Now once this graph moves over, it will separate it out like it was before, but very strong signal because it's sitting right over there. And very low noise. So in general, you'll be able to see that, in fact, I'll open up a speed test right now, and you'll see when I hit go, you'll see I'll get the full speeds of my internet, which again is 600 megabits down and 35 up. So as you can see right now, I'm getting extremely fast Wi-Fi. It's reporting around 674 down, and I'll generally get around 32 up. Sometimes it might be a little bit faster, but as you can see, even though the signal is fluctuating, the quality is fluctuating a bit, it's very strong, works like this every single time, every time. Okay guys, so I showed you what it was doing on the Mac. Now I'm going to go back here to my Windows and show you what it's doing here. Now I've reconnected, and on this network, I think you saw on the other, I am pinging the router. And you'll notice now the ping times don't fluctuate. Not in the hundreds like they were before. They do go up every now and then, and my son is home and he's on the internet too. But as you can see, those are some pretty steady pings. Just as a quick look-see, we're going to say, you can see I'm connected 1.2 gigabits now, and that will fluctuate down to 1.0 or whatever. But as you can see, I'll run a speed test here, and it's going to be just as fast, if not maybe faster than what it was on the MacBook. There you can see I'm over 600, which I'm very pleased with that. I'm going to let that run. You see it drop to 1.0 gigabits speed, but that's okay. I can deal with that. I'm getting around 33, 32 up, which again is normal. And there you have it. So there I am on the Windows. And so yeah, now I'm going to show you what I did to fix this because, you know, I did a lot of testing with Linksys. I'm working with a guy over there. He's been very helpful. We've been going through all these different troubleshooting steps. He's the one that helped me set up the ITG test node so I can test with just that node and just having a couple of devices on it, my MacBook and this Windows machine on it. And we went through a lot, but we never figured out what the problem was. And I was sending system logs over to him and app logs over to him. And the engineers weren't seeing where the problem was specifically yet. And so I started this weekend to do a few testing things on my own. And one thing that I did was I locked the routers into their own channel instead of it being on auto. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now from the web interface. So here we are on the web interface. I'm going to sign into it. I'll say, nope, wrong network. 192.168.2.2 is my router now. And I'm going to enter my router's password. Now, I am in bridge mode because I do have a firewall set up. And so I'm only going to get a few options versus what you saw before, but that doesn't matter, okay? What you're going to want to do is go here under Wi-Fi settings. And as you can see, I've got each of the networks split up. ITG6E, ITG6E-5, and I've got ITG6E-6 all set up. Now, if you notice, I can't go in here and choose what channel to use, okay? So the way to do that is to come down here. I clicked OK. Come down here and click CA. This is one thing that you'll see down here. I don't know what the CA stands for right offhand, but you click that and you go into a more advanced mode in your router. So now if I click on Wi-Fi settings, you'll notice I have a few extra options. So I still have all the networks separated, as you can see, but now you can see that there's channels, right? So instead of it being on auto, which is what they were set to out of the box, I locked them into their own channels. So I locked this one into channel 48, locked the 2.4 into channel 3, and 48 is common for your Wi-Fi 5 gigahertz options. Yes, you do have higher options here, but they can interfere with other items, military, aircraft, things of that nature. So if you want to keep it in just the Wi-Fi for computers range, it's best to just keep it in between 36 and 48. I chose 48. And I left channel width on auto, but of course you could see you could do up to 40 megahertz, 20 megahertz. I leave it on auto, and I didn't mess with the 6 gigahertz band because, as I said, I don't have any 6 gigahertz devices. And that's it. Once I did that, and I actually manually chose all of these to try to find the best channel, and they all work almost flawlessly. So what I believe is that there's an issue in Linksys' code for this Atlas Max 6E when it's set to auto, that maybe it's changing channels too much. Maybe it's fluctuating, trying to figure out what channel is best, and maybe that's what's causing it to drop. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. But what I do know is that once I went in here and I set the channel to a specific mode, and I applied this and let the router reboot, when it came back, now my pings, look at that. There's a whole page full of 1 millisecond pings. And every single time that I run a speed test, it is just as fast every single time. And now I don't have any disconnects. I've been able to keep this. And as you can see, even now, as I've been working on this video, this has been connected for 56 minutes. And it hasn't dropped. And before, when you noticed when it dropped, this box would go away and it would basically reset the timer because I'd have to go back into control panel and click the thing to bring up the status, and you'd see it would reset. I've had this connected for days now, and it's not had any issues whatsoever. So as you can see, I mean, getting the speed test, getting the pings, I mean, everything is working just fine now on the 5 gigahertz network. And it's all because I chose to lock them into their own channel instead of it being on auto. So that's it, folks. That's how I fixed my Linksys Atlas Max 6E Wi-Fi network, more specifically the 5 gigahertz bands. I hope this video has been helpful to you if you've been having trouble with your Atlas Max. Now, this is how you go in and fix it. Just simply log into your router via the web interface, go and click that CA mode down at the bottom, and go into your Wi-Fi settings, choose the channels, and go from there. I think that'll make all the difference in the world for you. You don't necessarily have to separate your bands, just set your channels. And I think that will help you out. If this video did help you, put a comment in the comment section below to let me know. I mean, I'm doing these videos to try to help folks, and I'm hoping I helped you with this video. Also, if this video helped you, like, possibly subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you get more of these videos from me reviewing products and unboxing, doing some tech tips and whatnot. With that being said, thanks for watching to the end of the video. Again, make sure you click like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and don't forget to leave that comment in the comment section below. Again, my name is Jason with Innovations Technology Group. Thank you for watching. You have a good day. Bye now.